Hey, Mad Dog Nation, Dr. Tom Hanson here coming at you from the Play Big Academy in Tampa, Florida with another edition of Mental Game Mondays. I'm wearing my A's hat today. This is not an Oakland A's hat. Again, it's my Citrus Park A's, a minor A Little League team that we're in the middle of our tournament here. We got off to a great start with a 6-0 win. And now tonight we play in another pool game, and then we head into the Final Four. We're already through to the Final Four for the rest of the week. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to experience that yourself, and you know it's an exciting time. And who's going to win the tournament will largely be determined by who controls their emotions the best. We talk about baseball being a mental game. It's, to me, if it's anything, if they have to choose for some reason, which you don't, but if someone were to make me choose, I would say it's much more an emotional game than a mental game. The emotional part of the game is what's going to determine how these guys play. Can they handle it? As more and more fans are yelling and more is on the line, can my guys get freer and looser, or are they going to contract and have trouble? And this could, well, it could also speaks for me as well in terms of the decisions I make, because you know it's one thing to sit in the stands, it's another thing sitting in the dugout. Your mind starts to go, and the game can go pretty fast when all of a sudden the guy's pitch count is at this. It's like, oh my gosh, what should I do with this, or what should I do with that, and oh, should I get this guy in? There's a lot that goes on, and it can go really fast. And the more in control, the more centered and balanced I am in this series, the better decisions I'll make. And also for the umpires, we often overlook them, but this is a hugely mental game. And I umpired a game, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago behind the plate. I really hadn't done it at the level I was at. And a guy gave me a hard time. I was having a pretty good time, actually. I think I called a very good game. I got them all right. Every time I said it was a strike, it actually was a strike. Was a strike, whether it had gone through the strike zone or not. But that's another story. But one of the managers was on me from the get-go. There was a play at home. He disagreed with an obstruction call. It was a clear not call that he thought should have been called, and then balls and strikes as well. And I'm clear that in a younger day, for sure, that would have really rattled me. Now, I actually thought it was fun. I thought, wow, look at this happening. I was able to just watch it. It's like, wow, look at what's going on for this guy. Much more so than I felt for myself. It's like I was able to play it through. It's like, no, I got that right. I was I was right. And so that was great. And that to me comes a lot from, yes, just some maturity, but also it does, every guy that's 50 that umpires doesn't necessarily think that it's so funny when an umpire gets on them. Now, the thing I will say is that once we got to the last inning and it was a one-run game, all of a sudden every pitch was a borderline pitch. For all these innings, it had just seemed easy. And now it seemed like every pitch was a borderline. And so I felt myself contracting and had to step out, take some breaths, do a little tapping to get myself staying centered and balanced. I still feel really good about what I did, especially for a first time. But the point I want to say is that it's an emotional game, and that as good things happen and bad things happen, our emotions end up running the show with how we perform. And so it's very important that you get good at managing your emotions. The first step is awareness. I started working with a new coach actually myself last week, and I've developed a much higher sense of my own emotions, one in particular that I feel in my chest. That's like, wow, I feel that way more than I ever realized I did. Let's get rid of that and see what opens up for me. So no matter where you're at, I would challenge you to say, well, this isn't just a video for the kids. It's for all of us to just keep calling ourselves to a higher and higher level of awareness, and from that perspective, train so that we can change and really become the people that we want to be. And that enables us to help people in the way that we want to help them. So that's it. Stay aware of your emotions. I challenge you to take it yourself to a whole nother level and look for some way to do that. Biggest being just, hey, be aware of what you're feeling and see if you like that or not. Trace it back. Well, where's the thought that gave rise to that feeling? And it's like, well, let me challenge that thought a little bit. So have fun with that. Love to hear your comments. Go get them and play big, Mad Dog Nation.